Do you want to know how I knew that the Jerry Rig Everything YouTube channel had posted their Pixel 10 Pro Fold video? Because I started getting tons of snarky comments about it on my content about the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, on my unboxing and first impressions, my tips and tricks video. The comments started rolling in. Now look guys, I want to be very, very clear about this. There is a big part of me that has absolutely no interest in talking about this at all. But I kind of think I have to at least address the deluge of comments that are going to be rolling in. And I actually think there is something else in that video that is more interesting than the thing that everyone is talking about. But we're going to address the thing that everyone is talking about first. We're just going to go over here to the video. I would encourage you, if you haven't seen it, just for the sake of fairness, it's got 1.3 million views, so it's not going to make a ton of difference. But do go click the link in the description. Watch it for yourself. That way it's fair. I just don't want to show you his video and then you see what I'm saying. So one of the things that Zach always does in these videos where he is torturing these devices is these foldables, or really any phone, he tries to bend them in the wrong direction. Or if you're just a slab phone, just bend them in general. And as you can see here at the 6:30 mark, after he's, torture, I can hear the sounds it makes in my ears and my head, and it gave me shivers of unpleasantness. And so he tries to bend the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, and along an antenna line, the thing just snaps. Now, I want to remind you that he did the exact same thing with the original Pixel Fold and with the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. He broke both of them in half in a similar fashion. And in the real world, that translated to nothing. You did not have a rash of these sorts of things happening. It didn't occur. Now, I've heard people say things like, well, what if you had your phone open, face down on a chair or on a couch, and someone sat on it? I would say to you, unless you have a very pointy butt, I don't think that's going to be a problem. Okay, you would have to have a very small and very pointy butt to generate the radius of curve that he is generating here. I just don't think I don't think it would happen, and I don't think that it did happen with the first two phones, and I don't think it's going to happen with this phone either. I personally just don't think that this test is particularly relevant to real world use. Now, if you want to say that when he did the same thing to the Z Fold 7, which is even thinner, and it didn't break, that's impressive. Absolutely, I agree with you. That is impressive that phone did not bend or let alone break like this phone did. That is definitely impressive. Does it mean anything in the real world? Did it mean anything with the first Pixel Fold or the second Pixel Fold? No, it's not going to mean anything here either. That's just my opinion. We're going to move forward. Now, after he bends this thing really, really sharply along this antenna line and breaks it, obviously the thing fails. But then he goes a step further. He continues kind of wrenching on it and bending on it and doing things to it. And he bends it one more time really hard. I guess he's trying to break it at the other antenna line too. And when he does this, it begins smoking. And for those that don't know, if you take a lithium ion battery and you bend it, you pierce it, you do something to jeopardize its structural integrity like he's doing here, that is what's going to happen. I know that this is very dramatic and it's a very crazy visual. Wow, he snapped the phone in half and it exploded. I don't think that's not an explosion, first off. And you probably think I'm being pedantic, but I take things like this very, very literally. That's not an explosion by really any definition. There's destructive shattering, blowing apart, violent expansion. It's none of those things. This is not an explosion. This is hyperbolic titling to garner more interest and to get more clicks. And fair enough, he's making a lot of money off of this video. The battery was pierced and it began smoking like any lithium ion battery would. I know that this is going to be the only thing that's going to be in my comment section for the next several months. In fact, I posted this on Threads, and I think that this kind of sums up my irritation with this. For the next like 3 months, this is how my comment section is going to look. I'm going to say something about the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, and they're going to say it blew up. I'm going to say something else about the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. They're going to say it exploded. It's going to inundate my comment section. And personally, I just don't think that that particular portion of the video means anything. If you don't intentionally take your phone and bend it in the wrong direction really, really hard, this is not going to happen to you. Like I keep saying, it didn't happen with the last 2 models. You did not see this rash of Pixel folds snapping in half. You're not going to see it here either. But there is another portion of this video, like I said, that I think is more interesting. Google was really sort of publicizing that this device is IP68. What does that mean? Well, if we come to the IP code meaning, IP6 means it is dust tight. No ingress of dust, complete protection against contact, a vacuum must be applied, test duration of up to 8 hours based on airflow. The second digit is 8, and this means immersion 1 meter, 3 feet 3 inches or more in depth. So the equipment is suitable for continuous immersion in water under conditions which manufacturer shall specify. So basically, it can be under like a meter of water, and it also has no ingress of dust. And since we Googled the word explosion, let's Google ingress as well so that we're very clear. The action or fact of going in or entering. So no entering of dust. And keep in mind that if you go up a couple of levels or down a couple of levels to IP4, we're talking about objects that are 1 millimeter in, I guess, diameter or size, 2.5, 12.5. You can see as you go higher, the size of the objects gets smaller. So less than 1 millimeter, we're talking about dust, very fine particulate. In this video, he takes a bunch of gravel, which has some small particulates in it to be clear, and he pours it all over the device. He pours it directly on the hinge, and then he closes it. And then he begins opening and closing it. And what you hear is a very unpleasant grinding sound as dust is moving around in that hinge. Now, Google has said that their hinge no longer has gears. I guess it's a cam-only hinge, and they think because of the fact that there aren't gears, the dust can't get, or the particulate can't get into the gears and cause problems there, something like that. But here's the reality. Stuff is getting into this device. So I'm very, very curious and skeptical how exactly, when this IP testing was done, that this device was put into a vacuum and dust was kind of blown across it, how no dust got into this device. I think that it obviously would get into this device. Why wouldn't it? There's an opening, there's a hinge, and you can see in his video that lots of things got into the hinge, just like the Z Fold 7, just like every other foldable, but those other foldables don't advertise that they have IP6 dust resistance. Now, is it possible that what Google is meaning is, yeah, stuff's going to get in, but it's not going to break the phone, it's not going to hurt anything? Maybe that's what they mean, but when we go back to the IP code, they are talking about ingress of dust, not that dust gets in and damages things. The ingress itself is the definition. So, are they excluding the hinge? Are they meaning that effectively you have two separate bodies of a device? You have like a phone and a phone with a hinge joining them. Do they mean that the actual, maybe stuff gets in the hinge, but it doesn't get into the two bodies of the phone? Is that what they mean? If it is, I don't think that that's what people think that they mean. And that is definitely, if not intentionally misleading, it is misleading, period. Obviously, his video is nothing short of a PR nightmare for Google. I mean, this has gone absolutely nuclear. It's been 16 hours and we have 1.3 million views. My YouTube channel, which has 70,000 subscribers, give or take a couple hundred, I'm getting tons of comments about this already. This is a PR nightmare. This is going to go absolutely everywhere, and it's going to make the Pixel Fold look really, really bad. Like I said, the bending, breaking, exploding thing, I don't think is nearly as big a deal as people are going to make it out to be. You may think I'm absolutely crazy. You may call me a Google apologist. That's fine. I don't really care. The stuff about the IP rating, I think, should be the bigger controversy because I don't know what IP68 means if you can put gravel into the hinge. I don't know what they mean by IP6. The good news is the Z Fold 7 doesn't even advertise IP6 anything, and it's fine, and the Fold 5 was fine, and the Fold 4 was fine, unless you take your Fold on the beach and throw it into the sand and pour sand in it, you're probably going to be fine there as well. If you're like a construction worker and you work around like concrete dust and things like that, maybe you thought this phone was going to be absolutely able to tank that, and maybe now you're like, maybe not, and that's good information to have. So for that, I guess we should be grateful that he poured gravel into the hinge of the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. And I think that that is relevant because I do think that calling this IP68 is a little bit misleading. For the rest of this, I think it's going to be sensationalized to the point that having any other useful, constructive conversation about this phone is going to be very, very hard to have now. I'm seeing comments from people saying this phone should be banned by TSA, people saying that if you drop it, it's going to explode. All of this stuff is obviously just really, really silly and not true at all. And I mean, some of this comes from Zach. This is literally a direct quote in the video. They don't give an exact number of folds that it can withstand. And yeah, sure, if the phone is only folded in a vacuum, it'll probably be just fine. No, it will be just fine. If you don't take your phone and forcibly bend it the wrong direction really hard, it will be just fine. No vacuum, nothing like that necessary. He's being dramatic, and that is just my opinion. But I think it is an opinion that is backed up by having used folding phones for years, and the fact that I'm speaking like he's watching this, he's not going to see this. The fact that the original Pixel Folds also snapped in his test, and none of them snapped in the real world. You can't go online and Google this and find someone posting, I sat on my Pixel Fold and it snapped in half. It's just not going to happen. He goes on to say, here in the real world where people sit on phones, unless you have a really, really sharp, pointy butt, it's not going to be a problem. Book bag squishes and little kids exist. Little kids are not going to snap your phone in half, Zach. The Pixel 10 Pro Fold just ain't going to make it. He is making a predictive, objective statement that this phone isn't going to make it. Well, check back with me in a year, and when we didn't have any of these things happening in the real world, we'll know who was correct about this. I will be very surprised if this turns into anything beyond people reacting to this video. If it starts happening in the real world, I will make a video and admit that I was absolutely wrong. But I don't think that's going to happen any more than it happened the last 2 times he did this. So guys, begrudgingly, those are my thoughts on this video. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm probably not going to do what I normally do and pay close attention to the comments. I try to read all of my comments. I'm going to make a concerted effort to just move on from this story because I don't think it really amounts to much other than stuff that's going to annoy me. So, yeah, let me know what you think. I may or may not read it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content like this, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.